I really like the mix of guests. I like the fact, I mean, I've liked all of them. I really have. But this one, we've got, Head from Korn, which is, obviously a little more, not new, but more modern than an 80s act, more of a 90s act. We got Steven and Juan from Rat with so much history with Sunset in L.A. We've got, my dear friend John hanging out, and we've got a spot there with Todd Singerman talking about the business side of things and celebrating the memory of Lemmy, who, again, is completely ingrained in everything that has to do with the rainbow. So it's a really cool mix of a lot of different things that we'll be bringing to you on Tuesday, and it should be a really, really fun show. And, of course, you never know who's going to be hanging out, who might drop by. We might wrangle a few extra people. You never know. So come on down and join us this coming Tuesday if in Southern California. If not, just listen here on Volume. We got a free-for-all. Ed, since this is Free-for-all Friday, any important news things we need to know before we get a break and get right to the calls?
Just a bunch of new Music Friday-related stuff. Want me to do that?
Hit us real quick. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Well, among the new releases out today in the rock world, the new Hollywood Vampires album we were talking about yesterday called Rise has been unleashed. Collective Soul have a new album called Blood. Head P.E. have a new record called Stampede. The new Def Leppard Volume 2 box set is now out. Now, this covers the albums from 1992's Adrenalize through the late 90s. It also contains within Rarities Volumes 2 and 3, both curated by Joe Elliott himself, containing rare B-sides and live recordings from the 1990s. Something very cool right here. So a previously unreleased version of a song called Time, recorded in the post-Live Aid mid-'80s era by Freddie Mercury for his friend Dave Clark's musical and the concept record of the same name called Time. Well, that previously unreleased version has now emerged over 30 years later, released under the song's full title, Time Waits for No One. This newly restored early version of the track features only the Queen frontman's soaring voice, accompanied by just a piano. Now, I have something really cool right here. So we have a new feature for Volume listeners who also have Pandora. I'm going to play a bit of this Freddie Mercury recording into the coming break. But if you have Pandora Premium, you can search for Volume New Music, and you can find the full version of this song on our New Music Friday playlist, Eddie.
Very cool. That's another cool integration with SiriusXM now owning Pandora. Very cool.
And the only other thing I have here today is this. Not exactly rock, but wonderful news for you, Eddie, and for the entire Trunk family. See, you and your daughter will not miss out on Ariana Grande, because did you hear the big news yesterday?
Yeah, more shows, right?
Yeah.
I thought I got off the hook. Don't even talk about it.
I won't.
Because in case she hears, then I'm going to be on the hook for that next run. So I'm just trying to avoid the whole thing.
Not going to tell you when she's playing Brooklyn?
Yeah, no. She's already played Brooklyn. They're coming back through again. I mean,
she did the Garden. Now she's going to do Brooklyn.
She's a cash cow. No, I heard 2 at Brooklyn and 2 at the Garden the other day. They were back to back.
Oh, really? Well, she's coming back to Brooklyn, and she's doing the Nassau Coliseum.
Shh. Let's not.
All right.
Let's not get the word out on that, please. I don't need to be having that pressure.
Then we'll cut the segment here.
Yes. Thank you, Ed. Real quick on this, too. Did you hear how much the guitars went for in David Gilmour's auction?
Oh, I have that story. Hang on one sec. Because I covered it in the top of the hour news break that just aired. I have the story here.
David Gilmour auctioned off all of his legendary guitars.
Over 100.
And it raised in auction, I think the stat I saw was like $28 million?
Well, not 28, but still a record set. So it was yesterday at Christie's here in New York City. According to figures that I got from Rolling Stone. Now, the most iconic instrument, the so-called Black Strat that Gilmour reportedly used on albums like Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, fetched close to $4 million, exceeding expectations. Amazing. The final total I have right here, $21,490,750. And yes, he is giving all the money, as he says, to charity.
Well, the charity he designated is for some sort of climate change charity or something like that.
Client Earth.
Man, that is a guy that put his money where his belief is. First of all, it amazes me the amount of disposable income or money that some people in this world have, that they just got a few million to throw around to buy a guitar. that just boggles the mind. But then for David Gilmour to take over $20 million and just donate it, I mean, that's incredible. Whether you believe in that cause or not, that is an unbelievable thing to do. And I'm sure that he's going on a private plane to deliver the check. I'm joking about, climate change. He's worried about climate change. These guys that well worried about climate change, and then they climb in their private jets. Hey, I don't know if he's doing that or not. But,
we only get one Earth.
Yeah. So anyway, nice work by David Gilmour, and nice work by whoever has the coin to cough up millions for one of his guitars. Really, really impressive. All right. And the other thing, too, you mentioned the Freddie Mercury song.
Yes.
It's incredible. The Queen mania doesn't stop. 2 more TV commercials I saw last night using Queen music. There was a Ford truck commercial using We Will Rock You, and there was another, I think it was a car commercial using Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Again, I just cannot even begin to tell you how unbelievable it is to me what's going on with Queen in this country right now. It really is just stunning. And I've said consistently, this is the biggest Queen has been in America since like 1979, since Another One Bites the Dust. Not even close. Not even close. Now Freddie Mercury, outtake songs or whatever it's unreal what's going on with Queen.
On top of that, I just finished watching the Amazon Prime series Good Omens, based on the book of the same name. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
So virtually, I would say the entire soundtrack of the miniseries, it's all set to... Now, it is a production of the BBC, so of course, in the UK, and as it was referenced, Queen plays into the book as well. But most of the soundtrack for the miniseries, it was all Queen songs. I kid you not, they scored one part of an episode to I'm in Love with My Car.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. The clearances, whoever's administering that publishing, it's incredible what is going on. And the last bit of news on Queen that I find interesting is that I read an interview last night with Brian May, who was talking about the years that Queen had Paul Rodgers as their singer. And it was never really quite defined as to why that ended, because I've talked to Paul Rodgers and Brian May about it, and they've both been very complimentary and about the time that they had in that band, or that the time Paul was in the band. But I saw an interview I read this interview last night with Brian that maybe came at it, like brought a different element to it that I never considered. And he said that one of the reasons why he felt it had to end is because Queen, as I've said so many times, is such a huge band globally. They literally play every part of the world and always have, and are enormous around the world. And he said that if you recall when Paul Rodgers was in Queen, if you ever saw that, they did a couple songs from Free or Bad Company in the set, like 3-4 songs. And Brian May said the problem became that in places like South America and other parts of the world where Queen are huge, Paul Rodgers, Bad Company, Free were not huge. People didn't know those songs. The band never had impact there, Bad Company or Free. So he said when they would do those songs, it would fall really flat. So my feeling would be that, well, why did you do it? Why not in those? Because, quite frankly, I would have, with Queen's catalog, as great as Bad Company and Free is, why do you need to hear that in that setting anyway? But the vibe I got from reading the article is that maybe part of the concession to him, an agreement to him in joining that band, was that he had to do a few songs from his own career. Because it seemed like that was almost a conditional thing of him being in the band, the way it was phrased in this interview. So I thought that was pretty fascinating as well.